we work to live, people. And if you're doing it the other way, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong, because you're not going to lay out on your deathbed and be like, gosh, I wish I had done one more podcast.
Right.
Actually, these are fun to me.
I wish I sold
play. I'm just kidding.
I wish I sold one more policy, right? On my deathbed.
Who cares?
But it's work hard, because every day in the office, it's tough, right?
Yep.
And so you might as well, enjoy when you're not working.
Right.
And make
like some stateside oranges.
Yeah. And make the most of it.
Welcome to the podcast dedicated to real estate, insurance, and building your business. Join us as we take you along our own business building journeys with additional wisdom from our network of local and national experts. Welcome to Bricks and Risk.
This episode is brought to you by Property Management Redefined. PMR is not just managing properties, they're creating partnerships that build long-term success for property owners. John and his team can be reached at manage@gopmr.com or by phone 267-753-6005. Tim.
Yes, Sean.
Who's a good client for PMR?
Property Management Redefined is looking for property owners who value three things: accountability, reliability, and a results-driven approach. We want to maximize returns, but still provide client and tenant satisfaction.
There's a lot of property managers out there.
Yes, there are.
What does PMR do really well?
Biggest thing is they're seamless and they're worry-free. So with that approach in mind, it allows the property owner to put their trust in PMR and know that the results will be there. The other thing I think a property owner is really going to value, because they do it so well, is that they have a local expert team, boots on the ground, managing your properties and your tenants' expectations every day so that you feel good about your investments.
We have millions of listeners out there.
Tens of millions.
If they want more information, how do they find PMR?
Right here, guys. Reach out to John Sachs and his team at Property Management Redefined. We'll take good care of you. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bricks and Risk. I'm Tim Garrity.
And I'm Sean Mooney.
Today, Sean, we have an out-of-towner, a Georgia girl. We have Missy Stallings, the founder of Stallings Insurance Agency. How you doing today, Missy?
We're talking about Missy. We're on that kind of basis.
We are.
Jump right in.
So a little background on Missy/Melissa. In 2008, with a big dream and a bigger heart, Missy started SIA. A former Auburn gymnast and academic All-American, War Eagle, which we were just talking about, she took her drive from the mat to the business world. From starting out at T-Mobile, then Liberty Mutual, and then finally into her own insurance agency. She's passionate about serving others, building a strong team, and giving back through causes like Habitat for Humanity and Operation Christmas Child. Missy and her husband, David, have 4 amazing kids, 2 dogs, and a life full of lake days, carpool lines, and faith-filled fun. If you know her, you've probably laughed with her. Missy's joy is contagious, and her heart is always in the right place. That's all good stuff. I love that. All right, so although you and I just met, I learned that you're very interested in AI. So how does AI relate to insurance as an industry? What are you seeing?
Well, let's start with our industry is a little behind when it comes to technology, but I think that's just because it's so old. And I mean, doesn't AI relate to every industry?
True.
Yeah.
So my husband is actually in the mortgage industry, and he runs a mortgage company, and we're in the same building. And so he, a lot of my ideas come from his industry, and I think that's great to look outside your industries when you're looking at technology, especially considering where the insurance industry is. Some days I feel like I'm still like hand calculating.
It really, I mean,
Premium
to frame it for people, Missy, we are like in the ancient times when it comes to an industry compared to others, like light years behind, right? So when you kind of bring up the topic, it's intriguing to me because it's like you're fast forwarding into a different time with insurance. And a lot of people too think like, well, how does insurance relate to AI? But like you just said, it really touches every business, every industry, and beyond education. You just keep going with what it.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting to bring it up, but interested to hear what you say about looking outside with the mortgages and kind of where that brought you now.
Right. So for us, we're really everything that we do in every process and procedure, we're thinking, how can we incorporate AI? How can we make this more efficient, more effective, but also, you know, integrate with some other technology that, whether it's built or not. So one thing that we're doing is a lot of our software companies already have some AI obviously built out, and kind of piggybacking off of those, even simple AI like Copilot with Microsoft, and just using ChatGPT on a daily basis, some of our training platforms. So that's what we're really going back to right now is, letting our existing tech stack do the heavy lifting of AI, but continue to drive and push them. Like we just had a carrier in here, Nat Jen, and he's like, I mean, we're incorporating it. I'm like, well, how and why and where? And they just kind of look at. I think a lot of people are still scared of it a little bit.
Well, here's the big thing for me. I mean, we always talk about security and privacy and data information. And the thing for me is, how do we, and I think there's companies out there that are starting to do it, is you're like building out your own large language model within your agency. But what I say with that is you're basically building your encyclopedia for your agency, right? And then over time, it knows which carriers you're talking to, which quoting with, writing with. It knows their underwriting guidelines. It knows the preferred clients that they're looking for and who they're a match with. But you're able to create this bubble. Like I don't like putting specific information into ChatGPT, right? Names, we don't use social numbers really that much, but name, address, date of birth, right? So I got to believe that there's some company out there, and I think I've seen it before, but how do you take that with the security in mind and really just put the jet fuel behind it to really set you on a different track, with your agency? So I think that's the one thing that we'll struggle with is, yes, you can do things on ChatGPT that aren't specific to your agency, but the real juice in it all is going to be that database that you can build where you can reference all of this information.
It's like it knows a lot about your business. It knows a lot about your clients, like your products. Interesting.
But I mean, I think a big thing for us right now is just focusing on retention. Well, in Georgia, we've been the number one health state for the last few years, and we're some tort reform was just passed here, which is great. But
I can share an article with you. We just said that Pennsylvania was ranked the number one worst court for tort jury awards or something like that. But second none was Georgia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, we got promoted to number 2, I think.
Yeah. But if you go to court, so what it is you go to court, like the jury awards are just, it's bonanza. It's like they just, okay, it's like, how much do you want? We can go higher than that. We can do better than that. Gotcha. And so that over and over and over and over and over again.
Awesome.
It's really hurting our industry. But so with a lot of that in Georgia, we're just really struggling to keep clients. And, the world is telling you to shop based on price. And we win them based on price. But then when they're seeing 5 advertisements a day on switching your insurance for $1, it's tough to compete with that. So focusing on retention and trying getting that sentiment score for a client is, I think, where AI can really come in and help without giving too much personal information to just, tone of voicemails and email and number of contacts, number of lines, those sorts of things. So I foresee that's really where AI can help.
Do you have something running right now with that, Missy?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
So our phone platform, Lightspeed, gives a sentiment score. Our CRM, Insured Mind, gives some sentiment score. But I haven't embraced something like Donna, where actually, which I am toying with.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Oh, go ahead. Keep finishing.
Yeah. So, that's really where another thing that you mentioned as far as we don't put personal data into AI either. In fact, I stopped posting when I was getting my social media platforms. I was like, gosh, I haven't posted personally in a while. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Because I'm scared of people getting my children's faces and them calling me asking for ransom money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. So that scares me a little bit with AI and social media and all those things. But, what we're putting out there is just more of, for instance, with home policies, since we're tied to the mortgage business, how long does it take you to find out the year of a house built and all the specs? So we just throw that in an AI platform and it pulls back
and that just
accurate data very quickly.
That just speeds up the process.
Time saver, right?
Yep.
It's kind of like a helicopter.
All right, so let me pivot off this. Mooney's a little bit more the AI nerd than I am, but here's something I relate to because I'm not in insurance. I'm in real estate, residential real estate specifically.
Oh, great. That resonates with me too.
Awesome. So you have an independent insurance agency, correct?
Yes.
So what made, when you were starting your own insurance agency, you said you were with Liberty Mutual. What made, instead of just saying, hey, I'll go do my own Liberty Mutual, because you could, or like maybe a State Farm or Allstate, whatever, pick your flavor of ice cream, let's call it. Or I can go build this thing on my own, which is going to take way more time, way more effort. Sometimes it's more money, sometimes it's not. Like, what made you do it independently?
So I interviewed a lot of captive agents and agencies. And, really, I was working for T-Mobile at the time, selling business to business. Do you remember Blackberries?
Oh, yeah. Had one of those.
Yeah. I missed those.
They were the best.
Yeah. Remember, it had the little wheel, the little ball thing in the middle. You could like...
nothing but thumbs, all thumbs. How fast? I can't even type that fast anymore. But I was business to business sales for T-Mobile and the commute was killing me. So I'm selling mobility, but yet they wanted me to be tied to a desktop 8 hours a day. I'm like, this is batshit crazy. I tore my Achilles tendon doing gymnastics on the beach at 26. So that kind of crushed my commute. And my husband got me a laptop and he was like, this is mobility. And so I presented it back to T-Mobile and they were like, no, we still need you tied to the desktop. So that's when I said, I need a career change. We're either getting divorced, I'm moving, or I'm going to change careers. David's like, I like number 3. Let's change careers. So we were looking at something symbiotic and to the mortgage industry. I actually looked at real estate, but nights and weekends, I wasn't a huge fan of. I wanted to start a family and then looked at getting the mortgage industry with him. But again, my marriage is more important than my career. And I heard most mortgage people that go into business together don't stay together. And so we landed on insurance and also wanted something. We looked at a career path that was kind of slow and steady because, the mortgage industry is like.
Absolutely. Peaks and valleys, just like real estate.
Yes. So, so I really wanted to learn the business first and Liberty Mutual and still, they're not captive in Georgia anymore, but had the best training program and taught me the insurance, taught me the business, taught me how to get licensed. And actually right there on the wall, little to my horn, I had the most homeowners insurance policies in the nation in 2007.
Nice. Good for you.
That's pretty fun. I know that one's right behind
That's
my
more
head.
than fun.
So,
that's impressive.
that was, Well, so I was Rookie of the Year and got the Crown Award. So I was not on any of the reports and people were pissed because they didn't see me coming and they just kind of coasted November, December. And
nice.
So
how many policies did you have to sell?
That was 440 policies.
God dang.
Whoa. In 1 year?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cranking.
You're like 1+ a day. Good for you.
But
That's
more
awesome.
than that,
That was
you're
when I
not,
had no children. Let's just say that too.
Right. Yeah. That's how I spent my day.
Work.
yeah.
At night.
6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah.
Right.
So that's really why I started at Liberty, but we knew that we wanted to start our own independent agency and kind of grow it from scratch. And I was in a non-compete too with Liberty. And honestly, all the customers I wrote with Liberty, I didn't really touch my non-compete but
what was it about
really
the independent that was different that you kind of gravitated towards? Like, what were like 2 or 3 things that you were like, well, I can get this out of here, but I can't get it over there?
So you're in such a small box in the captive world. And I tell so many people, I've mentored a few people to start independent agencies, but and if there's any of you out there, I'm happy to talk. So many people gave back to me. But you're in such a small little box, and on the independent side, it's the grass. I say the grass isn't green; it's neon green, like your logo color on the independent side of things. You just, I think one of the toughest parts, though, is, but I didn't realize before I started the agency, was obtaining and keeping contracts.
Yep.
So that's something that's I pride myself on, that we do a really good job of. We have great relationships with our carriers. We focus on having in fact, we meet with our carriers every month. Most people just meet quarterly, but we started meeting monthly 2 years ago when we wanted to hyper focus on retention and loss ratio and profitability. And so it's very time consuming, but the relationships that you build with them and how they really go to bat for you, and underwriters and marketing reps. And
I always say the best thing about being an independent agent is being independent. And the worst thing about being an independent agent is being independent.
Yeah. It's a cursing.
Right.
It's a curse and a blessing. It sounds like.
Right. Well, and that's where I think AI can help too. Because comparative reading and all those different things that we have to do to shop around our clients and find the best fit for them is way more time. I could fly through. I remember at Liberty Mutual, my finger would be on tab. I'd be like tab and arrow, like just.
Yep. It was when I worked for Allstate. I worked there for 8 years, and Allstate. I said I could answer the phone blindfolded and get through a quote in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it was
you could quote, sell, bind in like a 15-minute call. Home, auto, umbrella, all of it. So that and then I think the commercial world of insurance too can use a lot of help with AI.
Yep. Oh yeah,
they're even farther behind, in my opinion, technology-wise, than personal line. So,
well, trying to fill out Accords. I don't know if you've seen Sembly, and I don't know how much commercial you do, but this new product, which is Sembly, it's crazy what it can do. Like,
is it a form filler?
Yeah. So buildings, commercial buildings, statements of values, even driver lineups and getting all that information and then plugging it into your system, and then spits out these Accords that are done for you. So all you're doing is just getting the form, the system's reading it, and then spitting out the Accords on the other end. So you're not in there with a manual entry. To your point with the AI and what these systems are doing, just think of the time save on that. If you have a big commercial account that you're working on, you're talking about hours of logging information, going back and forth with the client, to get all these documents and everything. So I think that is the one of the best ways that AI is going to streamline a lot of these processes that we have in our office. And again, it's time and money, right? It's going to come a point where AI, I don't want to say is replacing a position in your office, but it's certainly going to enable your employees to operate at such a better speed. And, time is money, right?
Amen. Mortgage change. I don't know if you do a lot of those. That's another one. I'm like, there's got to be a way to.
Another one I saw was Neon. Zach, Seth, that does Neon. There was one where you pay per transaction. So if they link into your system, and so those easy ones, like a mortgage change or something like that, you can I think this is the way that they do it. They basically, if you want, you shuffle it to them. they basically have a way to just bloop, 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 do, done. And then it's like $1, which is another interesting, like imagine if you could take that off of one of your employees' desks, like
the cost.
The next year, you're not going to do one mortgagee change. Like,
hey everyone, this is Tim, your favorite Bricks and Risk co-host, but don't tell Sean. I hope you're enjoying this episode, and I'll get right back to it in a moment. Our audience grows through word of mouth, so if you would please take a moment of your time and give us a review on the platform you're on, that would be fantastic. Please also help spread the B&R word by sharing your favorite episode with a friend. We greatly appreciate your time and trust. Now, back to the show.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a good next question, good segue. So we ask a question, pick one out of 3 topics, and our 3 topics are email marketing, hiring and staffing, or routine. You chose hiring, staffing, and scaling, we call it. So first, tell us a little bit about your company's structure. Are you do you have employees? Do you have independent contractors? Do you outsource? Do you have all 3? How's it built?
Yeah. Well,
we're gonna have to zoom. Dylan, can you zoom in on Missy's face as Tim's
as her eyes are rolling? She's like, "What is this dude talking about? Why is he asking me this?"
No, I remember answering that question yesterday.
Yeah.
So I lost 4 employees in 2 months last year, and we only have 9.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that was real hard. And I'm a terrible boss was my first thought.
You're like, what am I doing wrong? Yeah, it's very easy to look inward.
Well, when I had done a few speaking engagements and been on some panels about hiring and staffing, and it was something that I really prided myself on, and I feel like God was like, "No, you're terrible at it."
I strike you down.
Right.
No, they all left for different reasons, and it was really I blame it on the industry more than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm sure I had a little part of it because the pressure came to me, and then I put pressure on them, and they all left. One went to be a stay-at-home mom. One went into the dental industry and then got back into insurance. And then another one left and came back. She had some childcare things, but that was a benefit that she came back. And then one went into IT. So they all kind of dispersed. But so that is where we put our heads together and we're like, we need to staff this up quickly or I'm going to have to sell it. There was no way losing that many people. It was 2 sales reps and 2 account managers.
Oh, wow.
We replaced them with VAs. So we went we were already using agency VA and she's been amazing. She's been our claims advocate and just handles everything claims. So we went back to that honey hole and interviewed a bunch of other virtual assistant companies, talked to many people, and my husband was really one that was like, having had great success with agency VA, why wouldn't you just go back there? So it's definitely been a lots of training and more on my right-hand girl. Her name's Whitney, and she's my agency manager. She runs the agency, and so she's done most of the training. Total CSR has helped a lot. The hard thing is I have always been big on culture, and culture is hard to establish when you're not all in the same office every day. So that's been really hard for me personally, because I'm just a people person. And so, so in office, I have an account manager, Whitney, my agency manager, and then 2 sales reps and me. And then I have a girl that works part-time from home. I started the agency years ago. I didn't mean to do this. It's a terrible business model. And I can say that as a female. It was all female agency, young, but they all get pregnant and have babies.
Yeah. Yep.
We had 12 babies in 6 years in the agency.
Wow. Yeah. That's
a lot of maternity leave, I think.
I mean, that's something like, unfortunately that doesn't get talked about, but that's a fact. And it's like, I was reading something the other day that the United States and like one other country are like some of the like 2 or 3 of only countries in the world that don't offer paid maternity leave. And the thing is, it's like, like you said, starting your family, like starting a family is a fact of life. And the woman is going to be the one that has to be there for a certain period of time. Period of time is different for everyone, in order to make sure the baby's healthy, that we're ready to rock, and now I can go back to work. And like you said, starting an agency with all women, which is probably phenomenal from a culture perspective, because you're a woman and you're like, hey, I want to work with my people, want to, empower women in business, which isn't the most common thing, depending on what industry you're in. And then they all start families. So like what was happening, like when they were starting their families, you being a woman yourself, like what was your, like, how did you respond to that? You're like, I got to get temporary help, or like, we'll shoulder the burden and then someone else gets pregnant. Like what?
Yeah, the way it's timed has actually been pretty perfect, because you have 9 months when they tell you you're pregnant. This is usually my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh God, fix your face, because I immediately think maternity leave. And
you're like, I'm happy, but I'm very nervous.
growing of life, it's a miracle. And I'm like, all the bad words. Yay!
No.
And I go cry. I know, go to my office and shut the door and cry. And I'm like, oh. But it changes you as a person. I don't know if y'all have children, but your employee, they come back different. So every time I'm like, not sure if they're going to come back. So I'm always thinking, are they going to come back? Are they going to come back focused, driven, or is it going to be completely different and change? So I talk to them. I try to talk to them pretty regularly throughout maternity leave. And I remember a few of them were like, I'm never having kids. And then next thing I know, they're pregnant. I'm like,
yeah.
There's something in the water here at Stallings Insurance. Don't drink it. It's not birth control either.
Right. Yeah. You're like, I know that for a fact.
Can you talk, Missy, about that? Like having to go to VAs and why you went there. And I assume that like you can have an employee tomorrow, right, that has a little bit of training or background, but the ability to maybe insert 2, 3, or 4 people, if need be, to kind of bridge you, right, in that immediate need, and why why you went there with virtual.
Well, I needed a quick. I mean, the honest, truthful answer is because I needed something quick, and I was like, how do I get 4 great employees quick, where I know they're going to be vetted and managed, and
because the process to get 4 employees in your office, I mean, that could be 6 months, of time.
Yep. And you're doing double time. We've talked about on the show before. When you bring new people in, you have to still have the amount of time to run the business, but then you have to have this additional time to bring the additional person or people on board with it. So, and then you're checking their work. So it's kind of like triple work. You do everything you got to do. You got to train them and you got to check it. It's crazy.
It is. Yep. So, it's definitely been still a process. And, I don't know if it was, I have to pick my words right. I'm like, who's going to watch this? And what should I say and not say? Is my staff going to watch
We
this?
get like 6 downloads a month. So you're good.
We won't tell anyone in Georgia. I promise.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sometimes a quick decision is not always the best one. So long term, they are loyal. And soon after I hired them, I actually brought them all to Georgia. We did a photo shoot, and we try to get to know each other. And we have a Monday morning meeting, and then we do role playing on Wednesday morning. And so I try to create culture. We tried to use an app too, where we were on with each other all day, and it was like so distracting. I'm like, hey guys, I gotta go. This is
back to work.
It's like everybody in your office, at your workstation all day.
Gosh.
I'm like, it's too much. But so I also in the past hired I hired character. I did less personality profile testing, and I try, because that's one thing that I learned you can't change. And a lot of times if you get experience in here, that's great. But there's so many, I can't stand negativity. It's like poison. And so I really try to weed that out early. And especially with women, negativity and drama.
Um, sentiment. You talked about, I'm curious if you do this or thought about this, or maybe it's part of your agency, but evaluating sentiment for your clients and your customers, right?
Mhm.
Is there any part of the agency that you do that with your employees? Like, I imagine for leave and you start to question things. Oh man, should I have seen this coming? Like, what was the issue? You know what I mean? So now they're out the door, and like, I'm just curious if there's anything that you did implement, or maybe you don't even do it. Is that something that's kind of in your line of sight?
Like, two things. I don't send out like a formal survey.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
10 people, so it's like,
Yep.
he's really corporate, like Home
Yeah.
Depot.
Did you answer? Did
But
you?
I mean,
Did you?
Did you get this? And I literally like,
not even a forum, but like, you know, maybe it's like, you know, quarterly sit downs or something
So,
to
yes,
kind of
we
like
do-
take a temperature.
like a breakfast or something. Yeah.
yeah, we do quarterly meetings with everybody, all of our staff, and we literally look them in the eye and it's like, any feedback for me? And you just have to pause.
And they're like, whoa.
Am I going to get fired if
I
I
gotta
tell
get some
you
more
what's wrong with
coffee.
you?
I'll be right back, Missy, while I think about that answer.
So that's when you go to tequila. That's when you go to
right.
shots, and then you go back.
They go over the
Yeah.
bar, they're like, can you make this an Irish coffee for me, please?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
hang on, please. There is. Have y'all heard of a company called Stitch Fix?
Yeah, it's like
a
like clothing. Yeah, I've seen commercials.
Subscription.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of my employees' sisters work for Stitch Fix, and they have feedback is what they call it. And she came and trained us on it. And you can literally take feedback to the CEO as long as it's appropriate, as long as you're not like, hey, I didn't like the earrings that you wore on that last podcast. They were really distracting. And,
Right.
But as long as it's feedback, but then after the feedback, you have to give a suggestion for the improvement. So
like implementation, like, okay, great idea, but how would you kind of get this, you know?
Yeah, what's your idea?
Yeah.
So, and you're reminding me, I mean, we try to regularly ask for feedback, but it is, you know, because there can be a little snipping behind the scenes, even at a small company at the water cooler. And
well, it's timing too. Like if you get the person on the wrong day, it's like, you know, you got to pick your spots where it's like, you ask that on that day and it could be like fire hydrant. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so, and some people take feedback really well and some people don't.
Correct. Yep.
So, and a lot of times when we preface it by, hey, I have some feedback for you, you're like, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me do some
tequila.
Let me do some push-ups. Hold, please.
Yeah.
So those two things, I think, but yeah, I can do a better job of that. You're just encouraging me to.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, I don't know. We're talking to, I mentioned to you that we're talking to Kelly later, and she had this thing that was, to me, it was kind of, she does these like mini courses, and I'm going to dive kind of.
She's one of the people I've used a lot for training. She's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
But she had this one that kind of hit me the other day, and it was like, reduce the stress in your office. And I was like, man, that is so good and so timely, because I feel like right now our employees are just having the worst time getting through. Like everything's harder now.
Yep.
Right? Everything, like, for lack of a better term, everything sucks right now with insurance. And I'm like any positive news coming, like I'll take it, right? Like I don't care if it's the smallest thing, because we're just hit over the head with bad stuff and negative stuff and rate increases and non-renewal. I mean, it's like, and our employees have to like fight their way through the day dealing with all of these negative issues that are coming about. So anyway, she's got this class where it's like, reduce the stress, have your employees not like make it more than it has to be.
Right. And
I'm like, oh man, I got to get into this, because it's in a time right now, I feel like our employees, like my employees are going to come in one day and be like, nope, I'm done. Like, this is just too much. And I'm like,
happens.
Yeah.
Well,
right after I took him out to do goat yoga and lunch.
Goat yoga.
Wait, what?
We did goat yoga.
That's where you do an actual yoga class and goats like climb all over you.
Goat yoga and lunch, and someone was like, "I'm out of here." Was that?
They left soon after. So I used to do monthly team outings like every other month, but
yeah,
I've been bad about that too because I'm like, well, that's sad. They didn't even appreciate it. 4 of them left.
All right. So I'm going to give some perspective because I ran a company myself for about 10 years. I ran an independent residential real estate brokerage in Philly, and most of the people that work for us were independent contractors. And I tried everything. We did quarterly lunches for the top producers. What made you a top producer? Well, we set a standard. If you're doing X or higher, you get a quarterly lunch. We did monthly mentoring. I would do happy hours where just everyone was coming. I would do guest speakers. And here's what I'll say. You can't please everyone is the first thing I will say. And you have to do it in a way for your company where it's budget friendly and it's also personality friendly. Because if you're like, hey, I'm throwing all these happy hours, but I don't really like to drink, but I know people do, then that's not good because you're going to go to that and they're going to sense you're not having a great time in whatever way. And people sense energy like no problem. So it's like, to even like your question and Sean's question, here's what I would say. What do you want to do to cheer ourselves up? Send me an email or you just email them. What would you want to do to cheer ourselves up? Get a couple ideas. And then you say, we're going to do Billy's idea this month and we're going to do Sally's idea next month. And again, it's not as simple as that, but we used to survey people at our brokerage. We had, like almost 50 agents running around at one point. At one time, we had about 8 employees that were either making some money through the company or had a salary or a bonus structure. So we had a lot of people, and we used to send a survey out every year just through like Google Forms. Like, what do you think of leadership? What do you think of our office? What do you think of these happy hours? What do you think of the quarterly lunches? And we would ask them a question on everything. And what I found through all that is you'll just get a myriad of answers because everyone's different, but you will have groupings of the same thing. And then when you look at who's in that grouping, when it's that big of a size, you're like, we should be focusing on that because 5 people said they didn't like it, but 20 said they did. And then you just start to figure out how to do it. And again, in the market that you guys are in right now, because again, residential real estate, depending on who you talk to, is either awesome or it stinks.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing. You just got to find a way to keep people marching forward in a way that works for them. And usually people like it when you say like, well, what do you want to do? Just like Stitch Fix. How would you fix that? It empowers you.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. I need to again, y'all are giving me some reminders of.
Well, I think in watching you before too, Missy, it was like you were like, culture, right? And when that happens, people leave. It's like, how do you reassemble culture?
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about that
self-doubt
in terms of trying to build out culture, maybe before that, and then maybe trying to assemble it after the fact?
So I'm just thinking of some of the things that we did to with culture. So we tried to celebrate wins together. We would have a dance party if somebody had a big win. We Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we share wins. So like it can be, we try and keep it business. Some people bring in personal stuff and I'm like, okay, keep it on the business level.
The office,
please.
I worked out this morning.
Nice.
I'm like, that's not a win.
Right. Yeah, I didn't ask that. I asked how work was going.
Yeah.
Office
wins, business wins.
So we renovated a house in Douglasville. It took us 3 years to renovate it. It was a lot of pain. It almost cost me my marriage, another one of those times in our life. But it has this glorious porch, and I call it Paradise Porch. And you can be out there, rain, sunshine, winter, summer. And so we would do probably quarterly a Paradise Porch Day. And I need to do that. We haven't done one in a little while, but that helped with culture because they could swim with pool. So they could swim, work a little bit. And I set my agency up initially paperless. So everybody can work from anywhere, anytime. And with just the laptop. So we come and work from there. And it's crazy too, how much information travels when you're all like right there together. So it's been, I would say since COVID, it's been hard to reestablish our culture again, but, our brand is Family Faith Fun. So, and this is what I was going to say earlier. I sought out the agency to establish something for myself that I ended up establishing for at this time last year, 10 other women, but we have a few men now, where they could work and have a good work-life balance too. When I'm not going to fire you if you have a sick kid for 2 weeks, for 2 weeks, a sick kid, or because kids don't want daddy when they're sick.
No, they don't.
Unfortunately. So I established something for women that is a proud moment for me, that I could have that for other women to be able to work and come to work. And
I think you don't downplay that, because if you have an employee, I mean, just think of the other side of it. They go to a corporate job and their kid's sick, and their kid's sick for a week. Like, them telling their boss, like, I need this week off. That can be a big deal,
Yeah. It is.
And for you to have that understanding is a tremendous benefit to the employee, that they know, like, hey, Missy will understand if I need this week to take care of my kid, right?
Yeah. And two, a lot of times you just go home and they're sleeping all day anyway. So they pull up their laptop. And so I don't make them take off formally, or I let them kind of choose that or use their vacation. Another thing we've done is some of the people on my team have earned unlimited vacation. So that's something where you're not nickel and diming, and it's crazy. Yeah. They actually take less vacation when you're on unlimited vacation, and they don't abuse it. And I kind of went to that with maternity leave, where I paid for 6 weeks and then they could use their unlimited vacation. And so I usually pay for 3 months.
Wow. Oh, that's great. All right. So here's last one. Is the quote you gave us was, work hard, play harder. And judging by some of the things you're talking about, you said you're into like lake days. Like, why did that quote resonate with you when we asked you the question?
It was just the first one that came to mind. So I'm in my 40s, and I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm assuming kind of close to there.
We're the same age.
I just round up.
We're both 46.
I just say 50.
Yeah. But then you say, but I identify as 32.
Right. Mentally.
Me too.
Unless we're talking about like retirement, and then sometimes I can, identify as 65.
Like we were talking about retirement, I'm 65. We're talking about having fun, I'm 31.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
We're talking about a discount at a restaurant. I'm a veteran.
Yeah. I can identify as a lot of different things.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Okay. But in your 40s, you start to really think, what the hell am I doing with my time every day? And who's raising my children? And so that's really where I've been, is like, I love to travel, love to travel. And we're about to leave for Italy for 15 days.
Oh, wow. Whole family?
Whole family. And plus my husband's sister and her 3 kids too. So it's a big group. And guess who planned it? ChatGPT AI.
Yeah.
Wow. What a good tip.
Yeah. It's the best tool out there, is the AI travel tools. Anyways. So we work to live. We don't live to work, right? But in America, I think we've established this, live to work. And I even can get in that rack race. Like, how many hours did I work this week? And it's like, who freaking cares?
Right.
Did we get the job done or not? And, so that's where I am. Having reached goals that my husband and I wanted to at the age of 45. We said we were going to retire at 45, and we're kind of looking at each other like, who's going first?
Yeah.
But I don't know that I fully want to retire either, because I've watched people's brains just decline rapidly without that, daily stimulation. So I'm a little fearful of that too. So I think him and I will always work in some capacity, but we work to live, people. And if you're doing it the other way, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong, because you're not going to lay out on your deathbed and be like, gosh, I wish I had done one more podcast.
Right.
Actually, these are fun to me.
I wish I sold. I'm just kidding. I wish I sold one more policy, right? On my deathbed.
Who cares?
But it's work hard, because every day in the office, it's tough, right?
Yep.
And so you might as well, enjoy when you're not working,
right?
And make
like some stateside oranges.
Yeah, and make the most of it.
What did you say?
Oranges? Mr. Mooney here got off the gluten.
I don't drink beer anymore. I just drink vodka.
He drinks like the seltzers and like the vodka soda, and so there's a drink up here. I'm not sure. I don't think stateside have made it to other markets, but there's a local distillery up here. They make like a vodka and soda drink that he drinks all the time.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
From time to time, Missy.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Time to time
That's great.
As in daily.
I'm on a gluten-free kick too. We can have a health podcast too.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we shut this one down, really appreciate your time today. It's fantastic to meet you.
My pleasure.
All the way from Georgia.
Nice to meet you.
Why don't you tell a little bit more about where our listeners and watchers can learn about you and everything you got going on?
Nowhere. I'm eliminating myself.
Right. It's all gone.
Vanishing for 2 weeks, so you won't be able to get a hold of me while I'm in Italy.
Gosh. I put all of our handles out there. Stallings IA is most of our handles on social media platforms. So if you search that, you can find mostly everything about the Missy Stallings, if you look for that on social platforms too. AU Missile is my handle on Instagram. That came from Vault and Floor, were my favorite and best 2 events when I was a gymnast. And one of my, the way that I would run towards the vault was sometimes a little too fast.
Missile-like?
Yeah. So she called me Missile, and it kind of went with the name too, with Missy L was Missile, Missy L. So A Auburn Missile that's where that came from. Yeah. Or just call, a good old phone call.
What's your phone number?
Good old fashioned phone call.
What's my digits? Are you going to flash them on the screen?
Yeah, sure.
8675309.
Tommy Two-Tone.
It doesn't have an area code though, so you got to add.
Well, back then you didn't need area codes to call people. You only had to dial 7 numbers. For all you millennials and Gen Zers out there.
And
if we didn't have the hose in different area codes, right?
No. I was going to say, if you go to Acme, you can put in that phone number and it works every time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, cool.
But I put I don't know if everybody does it, but I put my cell phone number out there on all platforms too. So
we're going to light you up.
404-993-5793.
Call me. Awesome. Well, hey, Missy, we greatly appreciate your time today. And that's all we have for this one, folks. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bricks and Risk. See you next week. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bricks and Risk. Our goal is that you walk away with 1 or 2 valuable nuggets, and we greatly appreciate you sharing your time with us today. You can find all BNR episodes on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcast content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.